In a village called Edede, there were so many beautiful women. The village was known for its beautiful women, who were very strong and could have many children. Everyone who lived there was proud of this. People from faraway places would come just to see these women and marry them. Among all the girls in Edede, there was one named Kambili. Kambili was not just beautiful, she was the most beautiful girl in the whole village. Everyone who saw her said, "Wow, look at Kambili, she's so pretty." Kambili lived with her parents and her brother Abasi. They were a small family, just the four of them, but they were very happy. Their parents loved them very much. They always made sure Kambili and Abasi had everything they needed. The village people would often say, "Kambili is such a good girl. She helps her mother at home, and she is kind to everyone." Kambili's beauty wasn't just on the outside. She was also beautiful on the inside. Everyone in Edede loved Kambili and her family. They were known for being kind and generous, and life in Edede was simple and peaceful. The sun always shined brightly. The birds sang sweet songs, and the trees were full of fruits. Kambili and her family enjoyed every moment together, and they were happy in their little village. One day, something very sad happened in the village of Edede. Kambili and Abasi's parents, who loved them so much, passed away. It was a very sad time for Kambili and Abasi. They were still young and didn't know what to do without their parents. The house that was once filled with laughter became quiet. The joy in their hearts was replaced with sadness. Kambili and Abasi had to be strong. They didn't have anyone else to take care of them, so they decided to take care of each other. Every day, they would work hard. Kambili would go to the market to sell fruits and vegetables, and Abasi would help the farmers in the farms. They did everything they could to make sure they had food to eat and clothes to wear. Even though life was now harder without their parents, Kambili and Abasi grew even closer. They shared everything, from their food to their worries. They would sit under the big tree at the end of the day, talking about their dreams and how they would make their parents proud. As the years passed, Kambili grew older. She was no longer the little girl who played in the fields with Abasi. Now she was a young woman, and in the village of Edede, young women were expected to marry. Most of the girls in the village got married when they were 18, but Kambili was already 25, and she still hadn't married anyone. Her relatives began to worry. They would come to her house and say, "Kambili, you are getting older. All the girls your age are married with children. Why haven't you found a husband yet?" Kambili would smile politely and say, "I want to choose the right man. I'm not in a hurry." But the pressure kept growing. Her relatives wouldn't stop reminding her that she needed to get married. They would whisper behind her back, "Why is Kambili still single? She's so beautiful. What is she waiting for?" Even the villagers began to talk. They would see Kambili in the market and say, "Kambili, when will we hear the sound of wedding drums for you?" Kambili felt the pressure, but she didn't want to rush into marriage. She wanted to make sure she married the right man, someone who would love and respect her. She had been seeing a man named Dele for a while. He was kind and hardworking, and Kambili liked him, but she hadn't decided if he was the one. One day, after another visit from her concerned relatives, Kambili sat down and thought long and hard. She didn't want to be the last unmarried woman in the village. She didn't want people to keep talking behind her back. So, she made a decision. Kambili went to Dele and said, "Dele, I think it's time for us to get married." Dele smiled and was very happy. He had been waiting for Kambili to say those words. "I will make you happy, Kambili," he promised. And so The preparations for the wedding began. The whole village was excited because Kambili, the most beautiful girl in Edede, was finally getting married. The drums would soon beat and the songs would soon fill the air. Kambili was about to take the next big step in her life, hoping she had made the right choice. Kambili and Dele's wedding was the biggest the village of Edede had seen in a long time. The drums beat loudly, the songs were sweet, and everyone danced with joy. The whole village came to celebrate Kambili's big day. People whispered, "Kambili is finally getting married." It was a day full of happiness and excitement. After the wedding, Kambili moved in with Dele and his family. She was determined to be the best wife she could be. Every morning, Kambili woke up early to fetch water and prepare food for the family. She cleaned the house until it sparkled and helped Dele's mother with anything she needed. Dele's family was pleased with Kambili. Dele's mother would say, "Kambili, you are such a good wife. We are lucky to have you." And Kambili would smile, feeling proud of herself. But as time passed, something began to worry Dele's mother. 2 years had gone by since the wedding, and Kambili still hadn't had a child. In Edede, children were very important, and a wife was expected to have them soon after marriage. Dele's mother started to worry and wonder why Kambili hadn't become pregnant. One day, Dele's mother asked Kambili, "Kambili, is everything okay? It's been 2 years, and there's still no child. What's wrong?" Kambili felt sad and unsure. She didn't know why she hadn't gotten pregnant. She wanted a child as much as Dele's mother did, but nothing seemed to be happening. "I don't know, Mama," Kambili replied quietly. "We are trying, but nothing is happening." Dele's mother frowned and thought deeply. She loved Kambili, but she was worried about the future. She wanted grandchildren to carry on the family name. Every time she looked at Kambili, she would sigh and shake her head, wondering what the problem could be. Kambili noticed that Dele's mother was becoming more distant and worried. The house that was once filled with laughter and joy was now quiet with concern. Kambili continued to do all her chores and help around the house, but inside she felt the weight of not being able to give Dele and his family a child. The days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, but still there was no baby. Kambili began to worry too. She prayed every night, hoping for a miracle, but deep down she feared what might happen if she couldn't have a child. As the months passed and still no child came, Dele's mother grew more anxious. She couldn't wait any longer. She needed to know if the problem was with Kambili or Dele. So she came up with a secret plan. One day when Kambili was away, Dele's mother brought another woman into their home. This woman was young and beautiful, and Dele's mother had chosen her because she was sure she could have a child. She spoke to Dele privately and said, "My son, I want you to be with this woman just for a little while. We need to know if you can father a child." Dele was surprised and didn't know what to say, but he trusted his mother. Reluctantly, he agreed to her plan. A few weeks later, the woman came back with news. She was pregnant. Dele was shocked, and his mother was overjoyed. It was clear now that Dele was not the problem. When Kambili returned home, she could feel that something had changed. The air was heavy with tension. Dele's mother called her aside and said, "Kambili, it's time for you to leave. You cannot have a child, and that means you cannot stay here as my son's wife. There is no place in this house for a woman who cannot give us children." Kambili's heart broke into 1,000 pieces. She felt ashamed and helpless. She had tried her best, but it wasn't enough. With tears in her eyes, Kambili packed her things and left the house that had been her home for the past 2 years. She